Hello everybody! Today we are going to draw letters in 2-point perspective. So choose at least 2 words that you would like to illustrate and let's begin. I am using a ruler and grid paper to start, but you can use anything with a straight edge and any paper you have access to. This first line is a horizon line and it can go anywhere on the page. This is where the top and the bottom meet. So I'm going to keep mine in the center. Next, I create 2 vanishing points. It works best to put your 2 points at the edge of your paper so that you have a lot more space to work with. And if you want even more space, you can always tape on some scrap paper on the edges and move your vanishing points off of the paper. A vanishing point is the point at which receding parallel lines viewed in perspective appear to converge. So basically, think about it like this. When we create our letters, the closer these letters are to the vanishing point, the smaller they get, the more they disappear as they go back into space. And the further from the vanishing point, the larger they will be. And we organize that by using something called converging lines. These are the lines that will be on the top and the bottom of our letters. These converging lines help direct us when we are drawing our letters. We use the vanishing point to help figure out how these converging lines will go back into space. Now I will begin by forming my letters by creating boxes and spacing out. You really want to organize your space before you get too detailed with your letters. So I figure out where each of the letters are going to go, how much spacing I will need. I use vertical lines to mark out how I will space these letters. So if you have multiple words, account for spacing in between the words with a box. When you are making your letters, any horizontal lines you need should match your converging lines using that same vanishing point. For example, right here you see I'm drawing the letter I, and I'm using the converging lines to figure out the tops and the bottoms of the letter. I really like grid paper because it helps me figure out how thick each of these letters will be and create nice and even spacing, but you don't need grid paper to do this. You can do this on any type of paper. So I'm boxing out my shapes first, and now after that, I will talk about how I will make them 3D. When we create the 3D edge of the letters, each side will use the opposite vanishing point because we're getting 2 points of perspective. That's what these letters are all about. For example, when I wrote the word rich, it was on the left side. So when I draw its 3D edge, I'll be using the vanishing point on the right side. When I wrote the word in, it was on the right side. So when I draw its back 3D edge, I'm going to use the vanishing point on the left side. My word on the bottom is colors, and half of it is on the left and half of it is on the right, so that word will be split between the 2 vanishing points. When you are drawing your 3D edge, you also have to figure out how thick you want your letters to be and try to make that even with each letter. So, will they keep going back into space, or are you going to have to create a back edge? You want to follow the same vertical path you used for the front part of the letter. So if you're using a word like an S or a C, you want to follow the curve of that edge. Now that I'm all done planning my letters out, I'm going to put it on some good plain white paper to add color and shadows and all the fun stuff. So I tape my grid paper to the back, open up Lightbox Trace, and this turns my iPad into a mini Lightbox table. I love doing this so I could take scratch paper and make all my mistakes and then put it on good paper and have fun with it. Now I am going to add some values to my letters to enhance the 3D effect. First, I figure out where my fake light source will be. So I'm going to place my light source on the right side of the letters, which means that the right side will have more light, where everything on the left side will have more of a shadow, especially at the bottom where it's going to create more of a shadow because it's lower, and also where overlaps occur, I will create more shadows. If a letter is behind another, that will also create a shadow. And if there's an overhang of a letter, like the top of an F, that will also make an area darker as well.